Oh, 30 boxes. It was a lot of boxes, but and I ate it not quite every day, but an awful lot. And I got through it in about a year and change. And literally, as the last box was being eaten, I discovered that they had taken it off the market because it was causing cancer because of red dye number 5. And being the kid I was, it was a spoon in my mouth going, oh, I'm just going to die.
Oh, hello.
Hi there. I was all prepared for 10 seconds of awkward silence, but apparently that's a bad thing.
I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing.
Yeah, it's just to prepare people for how awkward this is going to be.
This is going to be so awkward.
Whose voice am I hearing right now in my podcast?
Okay, so yes, if you are listening, first-time listener, first-time watcher, if you're watching this as well, my name is Ashley Johnson. What is your name?
I am known as Taliesin Jaffe.
Yes, you are.
That is my name, and we were child actors. If we were still child actors, that would be a little awkward.
That'd be strange.
Yeah, at this point. And
we are now adults.
Apparently.
Kind of.
And this is Welcome to Weird Kids.
Welcome to Weird Kids. Why are we doing this? Because we were told to?
Honestly, it's because we were told to, because we have a lot of issues and are not well.
Yeah, we have. Yes, I think. I think we're a little strange, and I think we both know that. And I think the sort of nugget of why we are is well, there's many reasons, but I think one of them, which we will talk about in some of the podcast as we go on. We're still figuring out what this is. It'll change. It'll morph. But we will tell some stories of, we both were child actors. That's why we're weird.
Yeah, we'll get deeper into this, but there is something that happens when you spend your entire childhood being treated like a child, but being expected to behave like an adult and not actually knowing any real children. And some people break hard. We did not break hard. We I mean, we didn't rob a 7-Eleven or anything, or if we did, we didn't get caught, so well done.
Yeah, we didn't. I was a fairly good kid.
I had a good heart.
You had a good... I think in being a kid on a set, and then you go back to normal life, and you go around you're around kids your own age.
Oh, it's horrifying.
It's hard.
Yeah.
And I think because you are not trained, but you're just around adults all day. So you interact with adults. They talk to you like an adult. And we were weird kids, which I think when we were talking about putting together this podcast of things we wanted to talk about and why, I think, I don't know, we have had very similar upbringings in some ways, and some of it was the actor stuff, and some of it was not. Both of us have had very interesting and strange and weird lives.
Very strange lives, and the child acting definitely started it, and then it just kind of morphed into a decades-long attempt to figure out what a real childhood is like, and still attempting to figure it out. And It created an interesting reality for me. I've had 6 lives, and at this point...
You've had more than that, because you were born in 1642,
I'm
correct?
3027 next year.
Yes.
I beat Mel Brooks by 1,000 years, which I'm
Good
really...
for you.
I look better, too, arguably.
You do. There's more color and more flair.
Yeah, and I'm here mostly because our friends told me that the only way I'm actually going to get healthy is if I monetize my sickness. And so they're like, you won't do it any other way, and that's fair.
No, it's true. That was another thing we were talking about, because so how long have we known each other?
12 years? I don't know.
I feel like it's been a little bit longer than that.
I met you through D&D. I had heard of your reputation, but we did not meet.
When we first met?
As far as I remember, but that doesn't mean anything. My memory is shot, which is ironic for doing it. I remember everything before 2010, so.
Yeah, we remember a lot of our childhood, but everything if I had to tell you what I did yesterday, I probably couldn't tell you.
No, I can tell you the lyrics to every cartoon I watched up until 1985, though. I don't know why, and I watched a lot.
And we'll get there.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, we did. We met through playing a game of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, at Laura and Travis's house.
Yes, our friend
that's
Laura
where
and
I
Travis.
remember meeting you.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And we have played in that same game, even though we've had different campaigns for the past 12 years.
My God.
And have connected on many different levels.
Yeah, I don't meet a lot of people who have a similar level of damage.
Yes.
I mean, plenty of people who have a depth of damage. I mean, it's always it is a deep lake.
It's a deep lake. It's a deep well.
Yeah, and deep lakes tend to have quiet surfaces. It's streams that are loud and it's always shallow water that is loud and crackly and moving everywhere.
What a good... I like that. That's
you.
very quiet on the outside, which I feel like we both are until you sort of get in there and you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah, and
there's a lot of shit going on here.
Immediately I had that, child actor, okay.
Yeah, I know.
And I don't know a lot of them so anymore.
Yeah, are you friends with any still?
Oh, I mean... I don't think Sam Riegel quite counts because he was a theater kid, which is a whole different.
Who is another a friend of ours that is also plays in our Dungeons and Dragons.
Worth looking up. Another interesting life, but very different.
Very different. Very different.
Yeah,
he was in theater, so he was kind of like a cool. That was just such a different vibe. Like I feel like the theater kids were very separate from.
Yeah, they were serious actors, but not
Yes.
not to. I mean, it's one of those things where in acting you're like you should get a real job, but also that looks hard, and you're an artist, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. The theater is for the artistic and the real actors.
Yeah, you learn to sing and dance. That's great. That doesn't actually help you get a real job.
Yeah,
even in acting. You're a mime.
Boy.
Actually, mimes make more money at this point. Never mind.
So where are you from, Taliesin?
Oh boy. I am born and raised Los Angeles, California. Wow. I was born at home in Venice Beach because my mother was
born at
a hippie.
home?
Yeah. I was. My mom was.
I don't know if I knew this.
I may not have ever mentioned it, but yeah.
She had a home birth.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Explains a lot.
It does explain a lot, but I think that's pretty fascinating.
There are rumors she was mildly inebriated, but I haven't been able to confirm that.
Good
to be
for
fair,
her. That's one way to do it.
I wasn't there technically until minutes later. Moved around Los Angeles probably once a year for most of my, or close to once or twice a year for most of my life. I don't know why, and then. Series of various step parents along the way, which will be fun to get into. A little bit of time in London, and then later Japan and Colorado and Texas, but those are all different vibes. But
and you spent some time in each of those places. You spent some time in Japan. You know Japan pretty well.
It's been a long time. I'm sure it's very different. But yeah, that was I had my 21st birthday out there. And I come from a film and theater family, 4 generations.
4 generations?
Great-grandmother was a silent film actress. My grandfathers were, one of them was a writer, playwright and film writer.
We have some of his books here on the set.
Oh, yeah.
May I grab one?
Yeah, sure.
Do you want to show it?
We can show it. This is not really what he's known for, but I was amused that he wrote it's like some novels as well.
I'm going to move the microphone with me because we can. Because this is technology that we have.
This is why you should watch the video of this.
Yeah, because you want to see us move around. It really makes a difference.
Yeah, uncle was producer, grandfather.
So we have 2 versions of
mom. It. Yeah, that's the new version.
We have this one, and then we also have this one, which I think is Norwegian. Maybe Swedish.
It is a
I'm
language
sorry
I do not know.
Either.
But Blackmailer by George Axelrod. She was born bad. I do know that there's.
She was born bad.
She was born bad. So the front page with the scantily clad woman with guns and money say.
Look at her. I want to be her. So he wrote these.
Yeah, and I think like there's
Can you
like
also say what else he wrote?
I can say some films, but like this, I know that like I think this is one that has like a vague Truman Capote vibe in it, where like he's a character with a different name in there. My grandfather wrote some episodes of the Shadow, I believe, the radio play back in the day.
Whoa!
He wrote The 7-Year Itch, Will Success Spoil Rock Hunter?
How fucking cool is that?
The film adaptation of The Manchurian Candidate.
Damn!
A couple other things. Bus Stop. He did the adaptation of Bus Stop with Marilyn Monroe.
Did he ever talk about Marilyn?
Oh yeah, tons.
Did he love her?
Oh yeah, he thought she was fucking delightful and always had great stories about what a delightful mess she was. We had a lot of, I mean, he and my grandmother were huge socialites, so we had all sorts of interesting people around the house all the time that I wouldn't even know where to begin with it. My grandmother was I guess roommates in college. I don't know what they called it back then with Lauren Bacall. So there was a whole bunch of that in reality.
Lauren Bacall so much.
Oh yeah, Betty is a whole.
So many of those stories, which I can't wait to get into.
Yeah.
And another thing that we've talked about, where it's hard to sometimes tell these stories, because you're like, I don't want to like name drop.
These are not names I ever want to say out loud, and I've been told I have to for this podcast. Yeah, and well, that's enough because I have to save some stuff.
We'll save some stuff.
So,
but you did have there's some things that I can't wait to talk about of your upbringing with staying at your grandparents that I think is
it's bizarre,
so different and so bizarre, and is so much fun to just unpack.
Oh yeah, I've seen I saw shit as a child that no child should see, and honestly, just on like a psychedelic level. So Ashley Johnson,
yes.
Who am you anyway?
Who am I? Who am me? I, just a normal woman.
We're all in trouble.
We're all in trouble. I am mostly from Los Angeles as well. Lived in Michigan for a little part of my life. Franklin, the town that time forgot. So I'm a little bit of a Michigander. Sometimes the accent comes out. Like sometimes, like if I get around people from Michigan and all my O's become A's, and it's just terrible. But mostly from Los Angeles. And when we moved out here, my family, we lived on a sailboat for 3 years. Very small, only 38-foot sailboat, and it was the best.
This explains a lot. I had no idea.
My dad's side of the family, there's a lot of sailors, so we always on the water. So we grew up on the water. And then during that time, I started acting when we came out to Los Angeles, just kind of as an accident, and then just kept doing it. But during that period, there were times where, I wanted to feel like I was never forced into it. And I think you and I both, I think that's why we kind of turned out okay.
My parents were practically against it.
Yes. Yeah. Same with mine, where it was like, well, I mean, you're like, you're a kid. Should they be working? But they seem to be enjoying it. And I don't know. I look back on it now and I'm thankful for that time. But it was a very different time of being a child actor in the industry than it is now.
Oh, I can't.
Because there was some shit that I know that we both saw where it was like, that caused some trauma for later.
God, I'm glad no one had the ability to take a photograph with their camera back. That was my thought. I'm glad that portable cameras aren't really a thing other than Polaroids, and thankfully I only have a few of those.
Oh God, yeah. So we mostly Los Angeles, and then I just kept acting. But I really feel like I didn't really start to love it and love the craft of it until maybe I was like 16, which is still pretty young. I mean, I working consistently as a kid and was just kind of what life was. But yeah.
That's interesting because like that's around the age I pieced out.
I know. And I feel like we've talked about this where you were like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I had an audition. So as a child actor, you spend most of your time going to auditions, and so honestly,
That is most
almost
of your
every
time.
day, nearly every day, if I was in school, immediately after school or right before school ended, my parents would come pick me up. I would go straight to an audition. That would be my next 2 hours, 3 hours would be auditioning for commercials, television shows, whatever. So it kind of cut into social time, which is one of the reasons why I didn't get
You're
close
weird.
to any of those people,
Yeah.
those children. Even
Those children?
those children, I don't know who or where most of them are. They don't know me. And you do that, and then like once or twice a year, maybe more, depending on how well you're doing. If you do it twice a year, you're doing well. You book something, decent, and then you vanish for 2 years onto a sitcom, or 6 months onto a film, or 3 days or 1 day onto a commercial. So that day, I had an audition that I had to go to for Baywatch.
Oh, shit.
It was Baywatch.
What season? Who knows?
Who knows?
Was it already on the air?
Yeah, it was already on the air.
Okay.
It was an episodic, and the sides were a level of terrible I did not even know how to contemplate. I did not know what children sounded like, and even I knew this was monstrously bad writing and that no child sounded like this. It was absolutely terrible. It was a whole...
Even as a kid, you were like, this writing is terrible.
I was giggling. I couldn't stop laughing at it. I couldn't
Wow.
get through it at all. And I was trying to prepare with my dad, and I just kept snickering because it was so terrible. And he didn't yell. He wasn't a yeller, but he got frustrated and basically, in his very strange way, said, wow, if you can't take this seriously, maybe you shouldn't be doing it. And I had an epiphany at that moment. I'm like, oh my God, you're right. There are going to be kids in that room who want this.
Yeah.
And this is disrespectful. I'm out. Call my agent. I'm done.
Wow.
I'm done.
You quit everything that day.
Yeah, that was just like,
That was it.
I shouldn't be in there if I can't take this seriously.
But then you started voice acting.
Oh, much later.
Much later. Because
yeah.
you still had the itch to perform.
Do
you like performing?
I do. It's everything else I hate.
Yeah. Okay. I get that.
Including the haircut and the haircut, the maintaining a physical form.
Yeah.
Like the auditioning is awful. Occasionally booking a terrible thing is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it was just, I kind of wanted to know what real life was like. So I'm like, I'm about to start high school. I'm just going to go to high school, or some version of it. I felt I made a terrible mistake pretty quickly, which is its own
Yeah, but you
trauma.
got to go to high school. I didn't get to go to high school. I know. And I feel like everybody has that reaction where they're like, oh, you dodged a bullet. But I also
mine was
feel
really
like
bad, but
yours
yeah.
was really bad.
Mine
I feel
was
like
super
mine
bad.
would have been bad too. Because at that time, I didn't really come into my own yet. Yeah, I feel like high school probably would have been terrible for me. But I still wish I would have had that experience.
I get it.
Because I didn't go to prom. You went to prom, and we
did
have
go
your
to
lovely
prom.
prom photo over here, which I think we should try to get out of there
We'll
at
get
one
around
point.
to it, yeah. And that was a whole like weird breakdown of reality that got there. But like that was until I got into voiceover, because I got into anime, and then anime led to VO, and just because I had opinions, because I was a performer once.
Of course.
But I often think about what life would have been like if I had continued, and who knows. But you kept going. Why? Well, like I say why, but
I know.
it's such a mixed bag.
It's a mixed bag. And I think there are times where I feel like when you're an actor, you're sort of at the mercy of a production, a writer, a director. You kind of sometimes have to do jobs that you, like you're saying, you are not necessarily into. Not everybody. Some people get lucky and they're just like have awesome
I dodged a couple
projects
bullets
that they get to do. Yeah,
so-
you can. Yeah.
But yeah.
But I think I worked with I feel like I know when it really changed for me. I worked on. This feels funny to like
I know.
talk about ourselves in this way, but
It's
I mean,
really
whatever.
weird.
I worked on a movie called. I might have been a little older then, I guess, when this kind of hit me. I worked on a movie called Fast Food Nation, and the director was Richard Linklater, and we did a rehearsal process that was about 2 weeks prior to filming. And I'd never done anything like that before. And I think it was so collaborative and so just, we were just in a little office space in Los Angeles and just crammed into a tiny room. And we just, he like, Linklater's approach was like, well, who are you? Talk to me. What do you like? What are the things you're into? And let's infuse that into the character. And it was such a foreign concept to me where I was like, wait, it can be like this? And I think it was such a cool experience and it was such a laid back set. And I think because he'd worked with all the same people and all the same crew, it was just like such a well-oiled machine. And it was cool to see at an age in my life where I was like, oh, this can be done. You can do this and you can make movies and you can make your art in a really, in a cool way. And I think prior to that, it was always a coin toss of whether it was going to be a fun set or a bad set or, it finally felt creative in a way that I think I was yearning for. But, and since then I've had some jobs that I've had jobs that I love and I've had jobs that I didn't love as much as the other ones.
Jobs that you take and jobs
that
you
you
love.
take. Yeah. But yeah, it's a weird, strange world. And I think on top of that,
And we both did sitcom, which is interesting.
we both did sitcom, which is why I'm going to just talk about this set
Go
for
ahead.
a second.
Go ahead.
And I love that this set kind of looks like a sitcom set.
Yes.
And we have filled the set with trinkets and things that we both love and that we, I guess, maybe not cherished, but things that we liked as a kid or things that we collect now or things that we're super into.
It's hard not to be nostalgic when so much weird, when you had so many bizarre things happen to you.
Yeah.
Because, I miss 3 or 4 of the people I used to be.
Yeah. God.
They were fascinating.
Yeah. I feel that really hard.
I was a precocious, like 11-year-old, and now I haven't really evolved enough to be anything but kind of an idiot 40-something. It's just kind of, I mean, like the person changes, but the ability to function has not really improved.
Yeah. I feel the same. I feel the same.
Yeah, and it is odd, and finding that line between art and working, and
it's hard. It's hard to find that little sweet spot of like how to be a creator and then but also the business side of things or like it's hard.
And 11 years old.
And 11 years old.
Which is, again, I hope that this is as horrifying for everybody else as it was for us. I was kind of aware of it.
You were?
Oh, I was surrounded by, I barely knew anybody who wasn't in the industry. Like, because all I knew were my grandparents' friends, and all of them, everybody worked in the end. All my family was in the industry. It's kind of, we didn't have much else to talk about.
Yeah, it just becomes your life.
Yeah,
I mean, that was it's all encompassing.
And I would have a creative writing project for 7th grade or 6th grade that I had to write for English class, and I would write it, and inevitably 3 people who have like written films would look at it and go, "Okay, here are your and just start redlining."
No way.
And they're like, the narrative is broken. This dialogue is crap.
They couldn't help it.
They couldn't. They also, I think, they delighted in seeing me like just get the right amount of irritated. And
do you feel like there was a little bit of, which I feel like some people in, like if they've been in the industry for a really long time, there's a bit of a chip on your shoulder where you're like, no, you got to work for it. You got to earn your way up here. And so maybe when you were a kid writing it, they were like, no, here. We're going to give you some of the hard knocks.
I had respect for the people who were kicking me around a bit, and they did it with love. We are one of those families where we show love by being kind of awful to each other in ways that you can only do to someone you know intimately.
Yes.
And it was how we expressed love, and trying to think, my grandfather, I don't even remember who he was talking to, but someone came over for lunch and he was like, I hear you're very talented and I'm so happy that I'm old enough that I don't give a shit anymore. Yeah, that's...
Oh, man.
We were talking about actors at the table. We all had to raise our hands before we went further to remind everybody that we were talking about an actor.
Oh, yeah.
Just to make it, okay, these are broken people. Yeah, and having that, yeah, definitely. And I was very serious.
You were a serious kid?
I was attempting to blend in, and I didn't like being a problem. I didn't like making a fuss. I liked being funny, and I liked being funny to adults and not in slapstick ways.
Man, and I think that's something that you and I talk about a lot, of the sort of, I guess, issues that you can have as a grown-up after being a child actor, because you get really used to people pleasing and sort of like I'm pretty good at taking direction, but I think to a fault, to where it's just like, oh yeah, I'll do exactly what needs to be done. But as you get older, it doesn't really help you a lot.
No.
To sort of, it's hard to speak up for yourself. It's hard. I have a harder time advocating for myself.
Deeply. Oh my God, it's embarrassing. Like, especially if I'm on a downslope, I am incapable of expressing any opinion at anybody.
Yeah, you're like, I'm fine. I'm fine. I will just do what needs to be done, and I'll make sure everybody's happy right now, and like, I'll deal with my shit when I go home.
And I'm still at the point where, like, everybody I know now, because I don't want to say, I know new people, obviously, because I grew up. They're still younger than the people I knew when I was 9. Like, I still don't know people who were the age of the people that I was talking to when I was a kid.
That's wild.
It freaks me out.
Yeah.
And, like, several times a year, I see an obituary. I was like, oh wow, I should have really sent an email while it was an option.
Damn.
Fuck.
I have a little bit of because I keep getting distracted by a picture over here that I'm gonna grab.
Please.
Okay.
Do you want me to grab a thing?
Okay, yeah, grab that photo right there.
This one right here. This
So to give you more lore of why I'm so a little fucked up.
Well, paint a picture for the people who cannot see.
I was Miss Junior Michigan, not to brag. And
It'd be hard to.
I'm a winner, baby. I don't know how old I was, but this was in Michigan, and
Early 20s.
I don't know how I ended up in pageants, but I did, and it was a very brief period of my life, and I would not recommend it.
So, I mean, there are wonderful punk songs about how no one should be involved in a child pageant. Yeah.
I never knew that there would be a punk song about child
the
pageants.
Dead Milkmen, Don't Trust the Happy.
Great.
Is a good one.
Wow.
This is, just to paint the picture,
the happy.
This looks like definitely like a rented ballroom.
Yes.
There's a little bit of that fake Greek white marble, which is clearly not actually marble, pillars in the background. You are holding, you are maybe 3 feet in this picture at best.
Maybe.
With the tiara.
Yeah.
In a blue dress.
It's still, is this blue to you?
It's light,
well,
it's powder blue.
This is silver.
Okay.
This was a gorgeous, shiny silver with sequins.
The photo is a little is not. I feel like the color could be boosted.
It could be a little boosted. No, it's fine.
But yeah, and you have very curly hair going into this.
I did.
A smile that is creeping into the eyes, but the eyes are fighting it very powerfully. And the trophy comes up to your shoulder.
Yeah, so and I feel like this is when I, for some reason, got into pageants, it was a very brief period of my life, maybe a year or two. But I did end up winning winning in the end, which is very cool. You know, I wish I still had that trophy.
I was going to ask if you still had the trophy.
But the first pageant that I was in, and I feel like this should have been an indication to my family that I would get nervous on stage. There was a portion where they asked questions, and I peed on the stage because I was nervous.
What question did they ask? And was that an appropriate answer?
He asked me, he was like, do you know who George Bush is?
Oh, no.
And I said, yes, he's a small tree. And I peed. I peed on the stage, and I just remember looking down and like backing up a little bit and seeing that I peed. And I remember the guy's face because he looks down and he saw it too. And then just went to the next little girl and asked her a question. I don't know if I was like meant for performing, but I worked it out. You know, I work hard.
I mean,
I work hard to overcome.
I was going to. Bladder control seems to not be an issue anymore, unless you're
Oh
dealing
no,
with
it still
it.
is.
Okay.
When I get nervous, I start wiggling
Is
because I feel like I have to pee.
I just assumed
That's what I did before we
that
started this.
Your legs are falling asleep. That's good to know.
No, I like it. I will pee. This is riveting.
We're.
I will pee like up until the last minute of performing,
You're
and then
right.
somehow a little bit will still show itself up in the bladder, and I'm like, God, why? It's nerves are weird.
Yeah, you are usually almost the last one, if not the last one.
Yeah, performing nerves have never gone away from me.
I definitely still have. I still have nerves as well, and
Yes.
I mean, we're both terrified of
Riddled
everything we
with
will
them.
ever say. And then I got a tremor when I started after I had quit, which I can.
How old were you?
I was about 16 or 15, and they said it would just get worse the older I got, and they were not wrong. And I do remember a doctor when I was like 17 saying, just have like a gin and tonic or something, and it'll take the edge off. And I was
What?
I was like, you're either the best or worst doctor I've ever spoken to.
That's kind of amazing.
I mean,
Does it work?
It helps, although I have other things that help a bit more. But I'm too lazy to take pills that do nothing but just make my life slightly easier on occasion.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, I'll take the stuff I have to, but if it's optional, I understand.
I
just keep going. But just in case everyone's nervous that I like haven't eaten in 3 days, this is normal.
Yeah. It's just it's a part of you that I love.
Oh, thank you. It definitely makes
you.
doing on-camera stuff, unless I'm, on a bunch of these pills that don't, almost impossible, because you need your hands to not do this.
You need your hands.
But, yeah, that helped as well.
Well, I it's so crazy because I feel like we haven't been talking it doesn't feel like we've been talking long. But I feel like there is something that before we are finished, I would love for us to this is going to be changing a little bit. The show it's going to be a little bit loosey goosey. We're going to figure out what this is. We're going to do some fun stuff.
Yeah, and this is more of an introduction to us. This is not what we're going to be talking about all the time or anything. It is more coming from the perspective of who we are now after all of this happened, and kind of the ways that we have adapted to our damage, and maybe the ways that we have adapted to our damage might help others find ways of delighting themselves when they find themselves older in the twilight of their ability to pretend that they're old and not really mean it, as opposed to going, oh no, things break and they don't get better anymore.
Yeah. We have.
Oh boy.
As a little surprise, we're gonna take a trip back to our childhoods and show some old commercials that we were in, because you can't get enough of an 80s commercial.
And commercials are great for us because they're short, to the point, and like it's its own. I'm trying not to pay attention to anything.
Something fell behind you.
Something's haunted, clearly.
I think it's haunted because it's next to your prom photo, and
That's
your prom
fair.
photo is
Pretty
very
haunted.
cursed. I feel like we need to push that up, though. It's going to drive me crazy.
That's fair. I will do an intro while you do
Yeah,
that.
you do an intro and I'll fix the set.
Commercials are great because they're very, very short. They're very to the point. There's usually a quick gag, and we, haven't found the time or the system yet for watching a 22-minute episode of television or otherwise that we did. And they're always bizarre. So let's do some dueling commercials.
Okay.
You can do one, I'll do the next. And for those of you who are not watching on videos, we will do our best to kind of paint a picture.
This is prime Taliesin right here to me.
boy.
This is a Rice Krispies commercial that you did?
Yeah, it was Strawberry Krispies.
Strawberry Krispies. Look at your little face. Look at your little hair. So tell me, do you remember shooting this?
Oh, yes.
You do?
Not the least of which is there were so many camera setups. If you find this, you will notice that there is not a single repeat shot in the whole thing. Every cut to me is always a different angle. Oh, over here, and then we're gonna cut in a second, and then you'll see. Oh,
Why
over
did
here.
they do that? So it must have taken forever to shoot.
I don't know. I genuinely don't understand what this man was thinking. Also, that suit was a weird mix of comfortable and uncomfortable.
Really?
And then the girl who was in the corn suit, who you can see on stage there, actually threw up in the corn suit. And so it's not moving because they had to stand it up on like a mop because she
threw up in the suit?
Yeah, and they had to take her away.
Opened it up and just...
Oh, it was a giant like foam column. Nobody should be in that thing. It looked horrifying.
Damn.
But yeah, they had to take her away, and I felt bad. But that's why the corn isn't moving there, is because it's just on a stick. And smells terrible.
Did you enjoy eating? Because I always felt like whenever I did a commercial where I got to eat something, I was like, this is the best day of my life.
I mean, that stuff was really good. Although, like they did the glue thing for the one that's actually shot, where instead of milk, they just use like white glue so it wouldn't melt onto the camera. Yeah.
They would use glue?
They used glue so that they could take like a dozen shots of it and it wouldn't get soggy.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. And
that makes sense.
I tried really hard not to eat a ton because then they would have to reset the cereal if I ate too much every time. And
you were a good boy.
And I was a good boy. I was here to work. I'm aware. And I can't believe this certainly haunts me to this day.
I can't believe this. Can you give it to us?
I can't believe it. I've got to be that's not even a very good. Even now I'm embarrassed by that line reading. I could do better.
We, some
oh God,
friends of ours, we call you the baby strawberry goth.
Yeah, strawberry goth is
strawberry goth is definitely your vibe.
I've been trying to buy more strawberry goth out. Cause I'm gonna lean into it. There's nothing else to do.
As you should.
Yeah, once people pick a nickname, lean into it, no matter how weird it is.
Yeah, it feels good. It feels good.
Yeah, and like the only other thing I can remember about this, other than I actually like the suit, I wish I still had it. Was they gave me a lifetime supply of Strawberry Krispies, which was
That's wild. So are you still getting them in the mail?
Well, man, that'd be great. No, it wasn't actually a lifetime supply. It was just a very, very...
Like 10 boxes?
Oh, 30 boxes. It was a lot of boxes, but and I ate it not quite every day, but an awful lot. And I got through it in about a year and change. And literally, as the last box was being eaten, I discovered that they had... taken it off the market because it was causing cancer because of red dye number 5. And being the kid I was, it was a spoon in my mouth going, I'm going to die. I was at the table. There was like back when you would have a TV on the kitchen table. I'm like, oh God.
That's another thing that you and I both connect on is health stuff. Where if anything's wrong, we're like, well, I'm gonna die.
Oh yeah.
That's for sure gonna happen to me.
Oh yeah. No.
Yeah.
I was taking spirulina shakes by the time I was 13. Yeah, it was bad.
Oh my God. So after the last box, but what if, would you still, why wouldn't they just switch it over to regular Rice Krispies then?
Well,
to give you.
I mean,
for your lifetime supply.
I think they just assumed I would die soon, so it hardly mattered.
Who owns Rice Krispies? Kellogg's? I say we write to Kellogg's and say, hey, I did a commercial when I was a kid. I was promised a lifetime supply. Where is it?
I want the Strawberry Krispies. I think they changed. They have a new red dye. It took a while, and I want. That's honestly, I still like Strawberry
I've never
Krispies
tried
quite a bit.
strawberry Rice Krispies.
It's exactly what you would hope for, which is like someone took Rice Krispies and then like dunked a strawberry shortcake doll in it and like stirred it for three days. It's amazing.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
It's really good.
Give it to me now.
Strawberry milk too. You can go. That was overboard. I did try it once and it didn't work.
Strawberry milk?
With Strawberry Krispies at some point. You could do chocolate milk and then you got the chocolate strawberry, but cereal is a science.
Damn. Cereal is a science, and I just had cereal the other night, and it was so fucking good.
We're gonna have to delve into that at some
We
point.
will. We're gonna do a cereal episode
I'm
at
into
some
it.
point.
Cereal,
But I did have
boxes,
Fruity
serial
Pebbles
killers.
and
Yeah.
I had Fruity Pebbles and milk in
That's
a
pretty-
bowl, and it was so. Ooh, it was so good.
I'm gonna have to. Yeah. I want
Well,
to. I
what
want to
else do we
see.
got?
I want to see some of your shame.
All right, let's see some of my shame. This is a commercial for a toy, little disturbing,
Does
called
your-
Baby Bundle, I think.
Oh my God. Is that
It
backpack
kicks.
like trying to get out? Oh my God. The
Yes.
child is banging. Okay.
So it's just like, hey, don't you want to have kids? Don't you want to be a good little wife?
That is to be
Sit
fair.
in your kitchen and have a kid?
Okay, so this is like I can't remember a Bjorn those like
Little Bjorn with the weird stork that was also looked like the pickle guy.
it did look like the pickle
Class
stork.
and pickle stork.
Maybe he needed a side job. You know, acting doesn't always pay the bills.
It doesn't always pay the
And
bills.
you take the job you can get.
You really do. He's like, I can be a stork too.
Or cartoon stork. And,
Yeah.
And so it's like a bag, and you put a baby doll in it, and then the doll tries to it feels like it's kicking the front of the bag because
Yeah.
it wants to get out.
Yeah, it wants to get out. So it's like trying to make it feel like it's a pregnant belly, which is why it's kicking.
Oh,
But
is
then-
that why?
But then you open it up and it's like, but you had the baby. It's a full-grown child.
I thought it was because the baby was annoying and you were trying to
Close it up.
to make it sleep. And it was just trying to get out. I didn't know that this was like a fake pregnancy bag.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
So,
I think. I don't know. I don't really understand it.
well, the baby's wearing a headband. That could mean anything.
I mean, yeah, it could mean anything. Hey, headbands are.
Yeah, the baby
Babies
needs a
love
swatch,
headbands.
considering what year this was.
Yeah.
So was the bag kicking or was the baby kicking in the bag? I have to kind of know. Or do you not know?
I don't remember.
I
Bundle baby, my bundle baby.
That's horrifying. Thank you. And yeah, you're wearing 80s toy child clothing. And your hair is like this big curly.
My hair was very
mop.
curly. My hair was very curly.
You've got a very
sitcom.
sitcom vibe.
And
Well
I
done.
think also that was I do have a very sitcom vibe. But I think people in that era loved it because they were like, oh, it's like a little Shirley Temple.
I
So
could
they
see
tried
that.
to make me like a baby for a long time.
Yeah.
And that caused a lot of problems.
I had the weird blonde I played much younger than I should have for way too long.
They always do that.
I was well behaved enough that they're like, oh, it's practically like hiring an adult, because
Yeah.
I watched so many other kids cause issues, and I'm like, I'm fine here. I don't know what their problem is. This is work. It made me mildly beloved for a while.
I mean, okay, we got to watch another one.
Yeah, okay, let's bring another one up.
This one's classic. This is a Coca-Cola commercial.
It is a Coca-Cola commercial.
You
Feel free.
did a Coca-Cola.
Oh boy, this was like a whole deal.
This was a cool one too, though. With very close encounters.
And I think actually,
What would that kid's do?
people from Close Encounters were involved, if I recall. That's
Oh, really?
also all inside a warehouse. None of this was shot outdoors.
Really?
Oh, it's an airplane hangar.
Well, the cinematography's gorgeous on this.
Thank you. Yeah.
I wonder who it was.
I don't remember, but I remember it being important or interesting.
Look at you.
And getting that Coca-Cola bottle to fall with the Coke logo up apparently was driving everyone
Just
insane.
took a while.
The fake sand was great. And you can see
Yeah,
it's
like that. Yeah,
it's like
you
a
can
not a
see.
real backdrop.
But it's great.
Yeah.
It's such a vibe.
I loved being in a warehouse.
I remember this commercial.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
It was
Which is going to be fun watching through some of these because I'm going to be like, oh my God, I watched that and I didn't know it was you because we didn't know each other yet.
They also, this was apparently a dueling commercial with Pepsi. This was like a retort, if I recall.
Yeah, because Pepsi's in it.
Yeah, there was.
How was that allowed?
I don't know. It was the 80s. And they actually call me by my real name in this one too, which is interesting.
They do?
Yeah, the mom yells TJ because I don't think they thought that far ahead.
TJ.
Yeah. Dialogue was definitely not high on the priority here.
God.
But yeah, I did a Coke
that
commercial.
Sizzling little.
There's a McDonald's commercial somewhere. There's a like insurance commercial with a lion where I have to sit on a couch with my family where there's a lion in front. They just brought a lion in.
You showed me pictures of that.
And
that I can't wait
for
to
the
see.
audition they had you sit with a kangaroo because they couldn't get a lion.
Oh?
Yeah.
That's very different from a lion.
I felt that. I was definitely why I now thinking back, I think they just wanted to make sure you weren't going to like mess with an animal. But apparently all they could get was a kangaroo.
That's so funny.
We
need a lion. We only have a kangaroo.
I'll take it.
We'll take the kangaroo.
Yeah.
What a bizarre.
There's probably some insurance reasons why you can't have auditions with a lion.
Yeah, but kangaroos are mean.
I think it was like the appropriate level.
Sure.
I did get kicked by a goat on a show one. Yeah, anyway, that's for later.
I can't wait to get into our working with animals.
Working with animals is a whole thing.
Because you taught me something about dolphins, which I'm very excited to get into because
That goat was mean. Sorry.
I think last up we have
other
is
than
a
Close
Duncan
Encounters,
Hines commercial.
What? Oh my God. You're thinking. No. You have a voice here.
I sound like it sounds like when you let like a little bit of air come out of a balloon.
You did the weird like giggle shake here, where like you're trying not to move too much, but instead as a kid like vibrates. You've seen that? Like that was amazing.
My problem was I really loved sugar. I still do.
That's fair.
And so anytime there was like a commercial for food, especially like a sweet, especially a brownie, oh my God, couldn't be happier. So that was probably very genuine of like, I'm going to get you to eat the butter.
I had bad teeth, so they wouldn't it didn't do a lot of, or like bad teeth they're very big on good teeth for sugar things.
Did you ever have to wear a flipper?
Yeah.
So if you don't know what flippers are,
flippers
are things that if you were a child actor in this time.
That's right, because normal kids
like they
didn't get these. I totally forgot. Oh.
So they have, like if your teeth came out, because you're a normal child whose teeth come out, they would make you fake dentures to wear. Mm-hmm. And it would be just like, it was like a retainer, but with teeth and everything I was on.
Just one tooth that would pop in.
Because you had to have a perfect set of teeth on everything.
I lost a tooth on a bagel in the middle of a shoot of a film, and so they had to make me one for the film because that would have been a problem.
Damn.
Having a tooth randomly disappear mid show.
Yeah, because you got to have that consistent. Yeah. Of course, the continuity as well is hard, but
I got fired from a peanut butter commercial too for having bad teeth. I remember that.
Really?
Yeah, like literally, I don't remember who it was. I think it might have been the director. Like literally, grabbed my face and like opened up my mouth and said, "Not this one. Get it out of there. Got to get him out of here." And without eye contact, and was like, "I get paid anyway. Whatever, motherfucker. Take my money and go home."
Not this one. Get this one out.
Literally, I don't even know who she was speaking to after like gross. Jesus.
Ugh.
You don't know where this mouth has been. Wash your hands.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we did pretty good. I mean, I don't know how long we've been talking, but I feel like that was a sort of a good maybe introduction. There's still so much more. But I feel like that was a good start for.
And I'm curious. We'll get eventually into your transition from child actor to actor, and I definitely am excited about the various nervous breakdowns that led to all sorts of weird adventures that
I
had
so
as
many.
a teenager moving into young adulthood or whatever that was, and wonderfully bad decisions. And well, they all worked out, I suppose. They worked out well enough that I have achieved the 21st century dream of being on a podcast.
We finally did it.
All downhill from here.
We finally did it. We finally achieved everything we've ever wanted, which was a podcast. Well, this was great, Taliesin. I like hanging out with you.
I like hanging out with you too.
It's fun that we get to do. This is helping us hang out more.
I know we've said for years we should really monetize an attempt to hang out because otherwise we'll never leave our homes.
That's so sad.
It's so
Sad,
So
but
sad.
true. But we will be doing some field trips.
Yeah, field trips are important.
Field trips are important. We have some things that we've already done that we're going to talk about, and
Yeah.
some other stuff that we have on the books.
And I mean, now that we have this and we have this lovely set, and I'm sure we'll be trading out things and maybe talking about things on occasion. I mean, like, do we have? I don't know. Do we do like music, or do we say something, or how do we need to end this somehow?
I feel like we need a theme song.
I'm bad at writing music.
I am too. I feel like we should
kind of sing. Well, you can sing too, but
I
don't
feel
wanna.
like I feel like we should get somebody to write an amazing theme song for us weird kids. And I feel like we know just the person, Taliesin.
Sam Riegel. Who are we gonna get?
Dave Heatwave.
You can't get Dave Heatwave.
Well, we could certainly try. I listen. I'm gonna write him a letter, and I'm gonna just see if maybe he will write us a theme song.
An email or a letter?
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna write a letter to Dave Heatwave. Right in this moment. Definitely didn't write this prior to this.
Better
moment.
you than me. It would freak me out.
All right, let me just get my pencil ready.
If you don't know who Dave Heatwave is, by the way, I don't know what's wrong with you, and just Google that. That's just weird. You should know. That's ridiculous.
Dear Mr. Dave Heatwave, Ashley Suzanne and Taliesin Armstrong here.
Yeah.
That's your middle name, right?
Yeah.
I heard your music through the sound waves traveling through the cosmos, and it pleased the holes in my ears. I don't even know where you are on this earth, or if you even reside in this here Virgo supercluster. But please, we need your help. I am requesting your assistance wherever you are. Can you please make us a theme song? An anthem, if you will. For the strange kids, the anxiety-riddled, the awkward and the insecure, the misunderstood, the wallflowers, the melancholic, lonely loners. The weird kids that grew up and are still weird.
This needs a stand-up bass. Carry on.
Thank you, Dave Heatwave. Please, we need your help. We will await your response. Ashley and Taliesin?
Yeah, no, I'm in on that. That was amazing.
I'm going to send this off, and it's going to make its way to Dave, and we'll see what he does.
I'm excited. This is that's quite a letter.
I'm going to put it in an envelope and send it to him for sure, and we're going to see if he will write us back.
I have some fancy stamps. We can do that.
Great.
They're super fancy.
Great. Well, this has been fun.
This has been fun. I've learned a lot.
I've learned a lot too.
Yeah, this has been great.
I can't wait to learn more.
Finally talk about this.
Yeah. We did it. All right. Well, hey, at some point we'll find a sign off here, but thanks for sitting with us at our table.
See you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Hey!
Hi there. Welcome to all of our new weird kids watching us for the very first time. We're here to let you know that we will be releasing one full new Weird Kids episode each and every Tuesday on Weird Kids YouTube. And
podcast platforms. And also, you can catch them all on ad-free at beacon.tv, where we will be releasing exclusive full episodes.
Very soon.
New episodes.
New episodes.
Oh my gosh.
Very soon.